And hi, Anat. I am here with your Prelude in B minor. By the way, you did do a good job of getting a picture of your hands. You didn't realize that you didn't have the rotating on, so everything was upside down, which was really a new experience for me. I was still able to do some of the stuff, but it's a little, I think we need to work out how to video your hands just a little bit more. And at this point, so with the Prelude in B minor, Chopin is a romantic composer. There is no other definition for his style. We would never perform this without pedal, but I don't want any pedal until we know the whole thing. There's so many reasons for this. A, the pedal can hide things that you think are right and that you won't hear unless it's off. But also just there's a lot to think about. And so we want to focus our energy, our mental energy in these first few weeks of a piece completely on what is happening with the notation, rhythm, and articulation. Adding the foot in is that one extra thing that usually causes things like errors from before to never get fixed because you've just got that one extra thing. So I'm just going to ask you to throw your foot right under the pedal and not let yourself do it at all. And I know, so I believe your opening is fine, but I do want to hear it without the pedal. Now, when we get to bar 6, your first chord is G sharp diminished. And I'm just doing your right hand for a moment. G sharp diminished. Now, put your 4 on the C sharp and keep the other 2 notes exactly the same. And now your 4 is on the right thing. Your 2 is hovering over the A sharp. The thumb drops to G. Okay, so let's do that one more time. The notation in here catches everyone. Totally normal that I have to go through this bar. So starting again at bar 6, 3 and G sharp diminished. Change to the C sharp only. Keep the others the same. Keep the 4 the same. 2 A sharp, thumb G. Put a 3 on that C sharp. 4 on D. Now your thumb is going to stay the same and your 2 goes to the A sharp while the 4 goes up to 5 legato. And pause and do just that until that feels right. So without me talking, it sounds like 3 and. And now before we add anything else, we want to stop and say, under that E, that is the held note, my 2 goes up to the B, but my thumb stays the same. And when I put it back, it goes back to A sharp. Now you might need to put some sharps in so that you have those in place. Whatever it takes is fine. And then after that, we're going to add one more chord before we go back to grab the left. So starting on bar 7, 3 and 2 to B, 2 to A sharp. Now the next chord is all black, 2 to F sharp. Now I also understand if you decide it's more comfortable to have 3 on F sharp. That works also. Might even work a little bit better for your hand than the 2. Okay, so now in the previous bar, bar 5, your left hand did and had thumb on G and then F sharp. It comes to F sharp again. 3 on E sharp, chromatic little moment there. C sharp, D, C sharp, A sharp. So when your right hand is all black, your left hand is still black. Okay, so now let's start at bar 6, hands together, and we're going to do bar 6 and then adding bar 7 counts 1 and 2. And then I'd like you to actually stop the video and just focus on this till you go, yeah, I got it, Karen. And then you can go on to anything else next after that. And it's okay if that's a couple of days, totally fine. So 3 and 1 and 2 and. Sounds like a diminished 7. Everybody's white. Zebra, black, white, black, white. All white. Back to zebra. All black. So that's the trick, is bar 7 is just as hard as bar 6. Now, when we go on to count 3 of bar 7, we actually have what's later going to be called an accented passing tone. The E is in the wrong spot. He's on the count instead of between it, like we do in our melodies. And that causes that chord to sound just a little bit wrong, but then it goes to a lovely rightness. So that's your B minor chord. So I went 5 on the top, 4, my thumb is on the F sharp. My thumb is going to stay on the F sharp in the right hand. I'm going to turn my 5 to the D, both black in the right hand. Okay, so now we're going to do bar 7, 3 and. Keep holding that E down. All black. B minor with 1 wrong note. 5, 4, 3. And I would stop there and make sure that that all makes sense. Now, in the next bar, you just had a 5 on a D at the end of bar 7 in the left hand. So it's just a E, E sharp, F sharp. Hold down that F sharp, reach up to the C so I hear them both. Lift off for the end of the phrase, and then go down to those 2 notes. And then you are doing fine here. Now just watch, don't turn off right here. And to F sharp, D, B. It's totally different fingering. You got thumb on B, 2, and then 1 on D, and then you're going to have 3 on B so that when we go down to the next bar, we're ready for the 5 on G. So you had miscued 1 note to be the same as bar 2, and I understand what, but you can sort of work on that guy and watch fingering at that point. Now, bar 8, right hand. So this is the F double sharp diminished triad. So it's just like G, B flat, D flat, but the D flat's on the bottom, but everything's been sharped instead. F double sharp, A sharp, C sharp. And when we go to the next chord, everybody simply goes up a half step. So 2 blacks and a white go to 2 whites and a black. Now your thumb's going to stay in the same spot. Your 3's taking the note your 5 had, reach up to the D, and then remembering we've got an A sharp earlier in the bar. Both of these notes are black in the right hand. Everybody has to circle that spot and remind themselves that it's all black, or there's a sharp that they put in or something like that. Do that bar 8 right hand, 3 and. Okay, so now if we put bar 8 hands together, 3 and. All black, lift off. All right, so each of those sections work on that. And right now, 9 minutes and 30 seconds, we're doing a run of line 2, 3 and. Soft and lift off. Already trying to work in this piece on a softer right hand. And here's that spot to watch. F sharp, under thumb to D, 3 down to B, and now let's look at the left hand of the next line. We're starting on the G natural this time. G major here. So we're going to go 5, 2, 1, 3, 2, wait, thumb on E, 2 over to F, back to E, and 2 to C natural. And then the next bar is C major chord. Just not in the normal order, is it? And we, of course, do it 2 times because that's what happens. And that's where I take this and I say December 13, that for the first lesson in January, which I believe we're back to our normal Thursdays at that point, that will be the amount. Now, I am going to say that it would be a great idea if the weekend before our first lesson, you actually recorded each of your pieces. So that's absolutely everything we're working on individually, and then send it off to me so that I know where we are and can prepare for that first lesson. And it may be that you'll get a chunk of that lesson in a video, or I might save it for the actual lesson. And with fingers crossed, we'll go on to grade 9 theory. Isn't that exciting? It is such a new world to do grade 9 theory. Completely different than rudiments. Okay, so now when we look at the right hand of bar 11, we've got G over D. And then just the top 2 notes. I'm going to ask you to go to 2 and 4 at the end of 11, so that now you're set for the C and C over G. And for the rest of what you're assigned, your right hand notes playing all the notes of the C, E, G chord. So this part is actually an easier learn than the last part. So that's the good news, isn't it? Hey, excuse me. Hey, excuse me. The weather doing like melt-offs and things tend to get my allergies going just a little bit. And I remember that sometimes you had a few allergies issues, so you might understand that. Okay, so I'm going to start at measure 9 so that you can hear 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 3, and 1. Oh, wow, that sounded awful. I'll start that again. 3, and. F sharp, 1, D, B. Oh, up to the E, sorry. So I'm going to send this, even though I played a few real clinkers in there, because I do want you to see that sometimes I have those days too where every now and again I think, what was my hand thinking? Or where was I thinking? What's going on here? It just happens. It happens to me too, Anat. Everything's fine. So we'll talk to you again, I think Tuesday morning. Bye-bye for now.